The news day continues. Here on One News Now, I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. Former U.S. President Donald Trump lambasts New York's Attorney General and the judge overseeing his fraud trial as it began on Monday. Trump is accused of reaping over $100 million by lying about his real estate empire. Testimony in Manhattan began with Donald Bender, a longtime accountant for Trump's businesses, as the state's first witness. Before trial, Trump called the case a scam, a sham, and a political vendetta by Attorney General Letitia James, who is seeking $250 million in fines, along with a permanent ban against the Trump family from running businesses in New York. The troubled tycoon was equally scathing against Judge Arthur Engoron, calling him a, quote, partisan Democrat who is using the case to interfere with the 2024 presidential polls.
It has been very successful for them because they took me off the campaign trail. Because I've been sitting in a courthouse all day long instead of being in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, or a lot of other places I could be at. This is a horrible situation for our country. It's never happened before. It's election interference. They're interfering with the presidential election of 2024, and the people of our country see it.
Over in Washington, U.S. President Joe Biden urges Republicans to honor its deal to uphold continuous funding aid for Ukraine. In a cabinet meeting yesterday, Biden said U.S. aid to Ukraine must not be interrupted under any circumstances. Congress passed a stopgap bill over the weekend, extending funding for more than a month and narrowly averting the federal government's fourth shutdown in a decade. But the bill did not include aid for Kyiv. It was only through a separate deal with the Republicans in Congress that Biden secured extended support to Ukraine in light of Russia's invasion. The United Nations Security Council authorizes a foreign security mission to Haiti to fight gangs. The Council adopted a resolution that authorized the so-called Multinational Security Support Mission. It will, quote, take all necessary measures, a code used for force. This comes a year after Haiti asked for help to fight violent gangs that have largely overrun its capital. The response was delayed due to a struggle to find a country to lead the mission. Several countries, including Kenya, have pledged a number of personnel. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. Spain rescues 58 migrants who were stranded off the Canary Islands. The migrants, including 9 women and 49 men, were transferred to a port on the island of Gran Canaria on Monday. There, they were given medical and other assistance by Red Cross workers. The Atlantic migration route is typically used by migrants from sub-Saharan Africa attempting to reach Europe. Nearly 15,000 people arrived in the Canary Islands between January and September 30. That figure is almost 20% higher compared to the same period last year. The World Health Organization recommends the use of a second malaria vaccine. The second vaccine would curb the life-threatening disease spread to humans by some mosquitoes. The WHO said the R21 Matrix M vaccine will be rolled out in some African countries in early 2024. It will also be made available in other nations by mid-2024. Doses would cost between $2 to $4 US. The 2023 Nobel Prize in Medicine has been awarded to 2 scientists for their contribution in developing COVID-19 vaccines. Hungarian scientist Katalin Karikó and US colleague Drew Weissman made mRNA molecule discoveries that paved the way for the development of vaccines against COVID-19. The Swedish award-giving body said the laureates contributed to the unprecedented rate of vaccine development during one of the greatest threats to human health in modern times. Weissman recalled working intensely with Karikó for more than 20 years, as Karikó struggled for years to find grants for the research.
We worked side by side all of that time because we couldn't get funding, we couldn't get publications, we couldn't get really people to notice RNA as something interesting. It had failed clinical trials and pretty much everybody gave up on it. But Katie lit the match and we spent the rest of 20 plus years working together, figuring out how to get it to work, how to get a vaccine to function well. And COVID hit and the vaccines were recognized for 95% efficacy, which was really a turning point in RNA therapeutics.
And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.